Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about sponsored products campaigns and why is it so important to limit the number of keywords you're using within a campaign. I'm going to also teach you how to diversify different types of keywords according to their primary goal of advertising so that you understand a little bit better how to structure your sponsored products campaigns for optimal performance. This is something that we've encountered many times. We've seen sellers make mistakes. We also made a couple of mistakes ourselves in advertising that we learned from and wanted to share with you, hopefully to avoid this mistake and learn from our own mistakes. Basically, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that there are a couple of different keyword types, so I'm just going to break it down to you, different types of keywords that we use in our targeting. There might be more keyword types, but more or less they'll come down to the same categories that I'm going to mention to you. First of all, there are types of keywords who are called core keywords, which means you have a product that, let's say, for example, cat scratching post. You're selling cat scratching posts. So basically, cat scratching post as a phrase would be your core keyword, would be something that 100% you want to rank for. And maybe a couple of other synonyms to this keyword that would also be 100% the same product that means the cat scratching post. Basically, you will have either 2 or 3 different versions of this phrase that you want to rank for, and these are called core or rank keywords. Basically, these keywords are the types of keywords that usually convert best if you just place them only in one campaign, like 2 or 3 different keywords in just one campaign with a very large budget, so that you let Amazon know that you're willing to spend money in advertising. But usually we've seen it results really well in terms of getting ranked a little bit higher in the search results. So ranked keywords as a special keyword type that I would call it core keywords, and basically these keywords should be separated in their own campaign, like I mentioned, with a separate budget with fixed bids. We usually only use fixed bids. In some cases we use automatic bid adjustments, but we mostly manually manage our bids because that's how we get maximum control over the ad spend. So for these types of keywords that are super important to you, that really mean a lot for ranking and for moving the needle on sales for your product, make sure to place as high bids as possible, because then you will ensure maximum coverage, especially if you're in some competitive categories like supplements or electronics. Then basically you should really make sure to be as high as possible in terms of keyword bid adjustments, and also maximum daily budgets for your campaigns. This works really well in amassing the sales velocity that your products really need in order to rank organically too. So usually these types of campaigns that we set with a couple of core keywords only with very high budget, they usually result in high ACOS, but they are the ones that are maximum generators of sales organically too. So this is super important for you to know that ideally, if you can afford to go a little bit over your break-even ACOS, then this is something that you should definitely do long term. It will give you better results. Second keyword types are long-tail keywords. This means that you can find, for example, when you do a reverse ASIN lookup in Helium 10, you will find a couple of thousand searches for your product, especially if it's already ranking well organically. Then you will get a couple of thousand suggestions to choose from to make them your keywords for your manual campaigns on sponsored products. Long tail keywords would be all keywords that have they're made of a couple of words that still mean your product. Like for example, if you're selling cat scratching posts, but maybe from some specific material, like if someone typed in plastic cat scratching posts under $20 as a phrase, that would be a long tail keywords. These keywords usually tend to have lower search volumes than these core keywords that are very super popular and they cost a lot, and they tend to have a lower search volumes than those, but also cost less. So you can ideally identify up to 1,000 keywords that's allowed for you to add in your ad group in Seller Central. And then find this very long list of long tail keywords that are somehow related to the product that you sell, or hopefully specifically related to your product closely. And then use these keywords in a separate campaign that will also have a high budget, but bids for these types of long tail keywords would be very low. I would say keep them down to a suggested bid, even lower if this is something that's beyond your comfort zone in terms of break-even ACoS. So long tail keywords are there to give you occasional profitable sales, meaning if you have 1,000 keywords that have lower search volume and you have some kind of below suggested bids, below the suggested threshold, and your bids are a little bit lower than that, then usually you will gather a couple of occasional clicks, and then they will give you a sale, and usually won't cost a lot. So these long tail keywords, they're very useful if you're looking to expand the reach of your campaigns in a very effective way in terms of being cost effective. So long tail keywords definitely something that not a lot of other sellers are thinking about, so you should really emphasize your strategy on long tail and doing really thorough keyword research, and be patient because like I mentioned, they don't have a lot of search volume, so it's most likely that you won't see their results within a couple of days. That usually happens on Amazon, but it's more likely that they will give their results within a couple of weeks. So if you use all these keywords that don't have as much search volume, naturally it will take them a long time to collect data and to collect these sales. But once these keywords start running persistently over week, month over month, they will get ranked better, and they will really start working out for your account. You just have to be persistent and patient with these keyword types. Also, there are two different types of keywords that we use in our strategies. One of them being the branded keywords. This means you targeting your own brand name on Amazon, meaning that you would pay for every search that's related to your brand name. So why would you do this? If you probably naturally you would think, okay, if I would, this is my name, someone would find me organically. But what we've seen in the last, let's say, 6 months, there's been around 30 changes in the features that Amazon Seller Central offers, which is more than they have done in the previous 2 years before that. So they have emphasized a lot on the features and all of these targeting options that really favor competitive strategy, which means they will keep on further on doing that. We also heard from confidential sources that they will release product targeting on display network too, which will only further enable competitive strategies to take place in 2020. Recently they've released product targeting in sponsor brands, and this is this is a couple of unusual steps for Amazon to take because they have heavily relied so far only on keyword targeting, and now we have product targeting, which is mostly used on stealing market share away from your competitors when there is a limited market reach like there is on Amazon. So this could be interpreted like their way of telling us that you should really emphasize on the competitor strategies and also on protecting your own brand from your competitors too. So branded keywords are super important for you to protect your brand for someone who might be bidding on it. Especially if you're not brand registered yet, your keywords will start collecting impressions, clicks, and you should still also be very patient with the branded keywords as well, because they are here to protect your brand. And same with product targeting, where you would target your own products just to consume as much space on the product detail page as possible and not let that customer's attention divert away from your product or stay on the page. Same way you would be using your keywords to protect your brand from competitive targeting. So branded keywords, they also tend to bring you very cheap sales that are repetitive. They're mostly not new to brand, but anyway, these are types of keywords that you really want to use in your campaign structure, just to make sure that you are absolutely covered in terms of competitive targeting. Also, there are same as there are branded keywords, we also have competitor keywords, which means you would be bidding on your competitors' names. Now, you should be very careful with these keyword types. We've seen them be very, very expensive. Logically, if someone's looking for someone else's brand name on Amazon, and they are finding it and they see yours, it's very unlikely that they will change their mind from the first click. But we've also seen cases where we have acquired a lot of new to brand sales coming from competitors' keywords, but we did it very, very carefully. Before you choose which competitors you should target through your competitor campaigns, through your competitor keywords, you should really do your competitor research first to understand what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what is there to target. So basically, if there's a competitor that specifically has very bad reviews, customers complain about quality, or for example, they have lower sales than you do, less social proof than you do, then this would be a good competitor to target through keywords, to target their branded name. If they have some kind of brand recognition, but they don't have good enough offer as much as you do, then this would be something to use through competitive targeting. Also, competitive keywords are super useful when you are a new brand that's entering an existing market, but the market is also new, and there's this like one leader in this market, they're the only ones currently doing this, and you want to enter that same market that's not saturated yet. So you don't really know how to explain to the customers that you also exist on the market, or the keywords that are generic keywords just aren't enough for you to generate traction. Then using competitive keywords might be useful choice for you. It might be interesting choice to test out and see how it works out for you. We've also seen that work really well for some of our clients. And usually when we design our strategies and the number of keywords that we will use in a campaign versus the budget that will be allocated to these keywords and these campaigns, we take all of this into account. What is this keyword? What keyword types do they belong to? How far from the sale they are in the funnel, in the sales funnel, judging to that keyword content, and just generally, what do we want to achieve with this specific keyword? If it's a core keyword, if this like in the top 3 that we definitely want to rank for, then our primary goal wouldn't be looking at ACoS, how high it is, but we would be looking at the campaign reach, how many clicks, how many sales we've acquired coming from these ranked keywords that we want to rank for, because that's what affects overall sales. We want to make sure that we also have these organic sales in place. And so that being said, we would look at our sales from the business reports section, not from the campaign manager sales, when we would compare them to the ACoS, to the spend that we have spent on them. If we're working with long tail keywords, then our primary goal would be to get cheap sales, meaning sales that are exclusively profitable. They would have to be within the break-even ACoS threshold, and just like control the bids a little bit more, keeping them under the suggested bid range, and just keeping everything under control manually, more like a steady month-over-month growth rather than something that's very aggressive. So those are two different types of campaigns. When we're talking about core keywords and getting ranked for a couple of them that you want to get ranked on the first page for, then you should have as low number as possible, 2 or 3 maybe, with a very high budget, as much as you can afford. When it comes to long tail keywords, you want to have as many of them as possible in your list, up to 1,000. If 1,000, then that's wonderful. Also with a big budget, but keyword bids being a little bit more under the radar, so to speak. So basically, core keywords versus long tail keywords. And we also have branded keywords versus competitor keywords. For branded keywords, you want to make sure that you cover all the keywords that you, in your campaign, that you found that have some significant search volume. Even if they don't, you just put in there. They're just not going to harm your campaign in any way. They're not going to generate impressions, especially if you're a new brand. So they're not going to spend your money. But in case that there's someone bidding on your brand, that they will have this defensive role and they will play it. So make sure you have your branded keywords in place and limit the number of branded keywords. Now, when it comes to branded keywords, there's also, I can't give you a hard limit because it really depends on how strong your brand recognition in your target market is. So if you're just getting started, then if you're in this phase that you're a new brand, make sure to place all the possible branded keywords in your branded campaign that you could find. If you're a brand that already has, some kind of recognition, good search volume, let's say up to 1,000 searches per month for your branded name, then I would suggest that you could structure your campaigns accordingly. Like if there's your brand sells different types of products than usual, and there is brand recognition in your market, usually you will see your brand name plus the keyword, the product that your customers are looking for. So you can structure them, one product, one ad group, and just like have a separate ad group that will just be for the branded keywords without any words after the brand, so that you know exactly which product to advertise according to the keyword. So basically that would be one way of structuring your branded campaigns, and then you will get a feeling of what's the limit of what's the maximum amount of keywords that your budget can handle, and then you would adjust the budget, obviously. So that would be the branded keywords. When it comes to competitive keywords, there's also it's very hard to set a limit to know when is enough, how much your daily budget can handle. But it all depends on the type of competitive strategy that you make for yourself. You have to understand your competitors' weaknesses to know if it makes sense to target them or it doesn't make sense to target them. So basically, all that being said, my point of this video was to let you know that you should be mindful of the types of keywords that you mix up together in campaigns. Know what's the nature of the campaign, the keywords that you're targeting, and according to the nature of the keywords you're targeting, you will decide how many of them to put in a campaign to make it really, really functional. So especially if you're competitive category, then really focus on your core keywords, as low as possible number of the keywords, with a budget and bids as high as possible should be the winning formula for you. If you have any questions for me, please comment below and let me know if there's anything else you want me to talk to related to Amazon PPC or any type of Amazon FBA topic. I'd be happy to share my knowledge and experience with you. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.